Did the person in your life promise you the world? Promise you that dream vacation? Promise you that great car? Promise you that house? Promise you that life that they never gave? A promise of something happy, of something whole, of something that you were looking forward to. But before you ever got there, the road was filled with a lot of deceit and lies and abuse, cheating, gaslighting, manipulating. Did they promise you the world, but then gave you crap? If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Ben Taylor. I run Raw Motivations. I'm a self-aware narcissist that's on this platform to provide awareness about what narcissism is, how it's affected my life, how it's destroyed friendships, how it's destroyed relationships, how it's hurt and damaged people, and how big of an issue it is. But I'm on this channel to bring awareness about narcissism, to bring healing to people that are looking for it, to the people who have been abused by a narcissist and they don't understand what's going on. They don't understand how to get closure. They don't understand where that comes from. They don't understand how to break through a trauma bond or how to get through the fog of the narcissistic lies and manipulation. I'm on here to help people grow and to be able to attain a higher sense of self, a higher self-worth, a higher importance, a higher vision, a higher goals, a higher purpose than what the narcissist has taken away from them. And I'm on here to help impact change. I impact change each day when I talk to people, breaking them free from the trauma bond, helping them to grow and to change. And I also help bring change when I talk to narcissists. I don't talk to many, because a lot of them don't come back after they talk to me once. But I do talk to people with narcissistic traits and try to say, hey, let's stop fucking lying. Let's do the work. And let's see what change we can actually implement. Long-lasting, consistent change, not this pop up and down kind of a thing. But that's what I do on this platform about narcissism. That's why I'm here. So oftentimes people get pulled into a relationship and the other person is throwing out different things that sound great, that sound awesome. And we normally experience this a lot in the beginning of a relationship when we're starting to get connected to another person, when the other person is developing a relationship and a bond and a friendship and a love interest, and you start to see different things get thrown out there. It's like, I can't wait to have a family with you. Let's plan this. Let's plan this. And they start throwing a lot of things out that's very far in the future. You'll see this early on sometimes in a dating environment where you first get introduced to a person that has narcissistic traits or they're toxic, and they start throwing out all these thoughts and all these ideas. Some people think I'm ridiculous for saying this, but I've had one-on-ones, with people that, they've gotten married within like a week or within like a couple days. Because that's how intense it can be sometimes when you meet someone that's like, I can see a future with you, we're twin flames, like we're soulmates, like this is the direction I want to go, let's have this many kids, let's have this house, and they plan out a lot of the future. And a lot of times when they plan out the future, it's in an effort to ignore the present or to ignore the void that you're not seeing. And a lot of times people are looking for greener pastures while they're ignoring all the red flags waving in front of them. And as people look down the road and they start to see a future and a plan and a design that as the toxic person is like reading from you what you like, they're molding and shaping that vision so it looks good, so it looks perfect, so it looks like you guys are perfectly aligned with the direction you're going. This has elements of love bombing, but mainly future faking is what I'm talking about. And future faking can be so confusing because it's that idea of they want to do this. They want to do this. This is sometimes why narcissism and ADHD can look similar, and people sometimes get this part of it confused. The difference is a narcissist is looking forward to fake the future in an effort to reduce the vulnerability in the moment, to an effort to get away from the honesty or the accountability that they have to have in that moment. Maybe it's to help lock in a long-term supply. Maybe it's help to guarantee that it's going to continue. Someone with ADHD is like, yeah, let's go do that, and then they get distracted with something else. The difference is it's not malicious intent and it's not manipulative in its intent with someone who has ADHD and who's thinking of the future, and then you're like, well, why didn't that ever happen? With a narcissist, a lot of times they're trying to avoid something. A lot of times I've talked to people and I've asked them about their future plans because they've talked to me and they've been like, wow, like I just don't know what to do. Like we had this vacation plan, we did this, we had this plan, like this is the future that he was like saying, like we were going to get this house, we're going to get this. And I was like, when did all this stuff come about? Like when did the narcissist or the toxic person like say, I want to have a house with you, I want to go to this vacation with you, I want to have this type of dog, this kid? Like when did all that happen? And it's amazing because as I sit and think, a lot of times they'll track it all the way back to a conversation that had to do with accountability or honesty. You'll see some of the biggest times that a narcissist will come out and they'll say, hey, I want to get engaged. Hey, I want to get married. Hey, let's have a kid, right after a time where they cheated. Or right after a time they got held accountable for something, or they got called out for something that they were not comfortable with, or they did not want to have to embrace the honesty, the vulnerability, and the accountability. So as a result, let's distract. Hey, like this happened, but I was thinking we were gonna go on a plan to Disney. Like we were gonna go to Disney, and I don't know, I just feel like this ruined it. Oh no, like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Let's still work it out. And you have people that sacrifice a lot of things in the present for a hope of a future that the narcissist never intended to give. Future faking is really detrimental. It can be really hard in the moment to identify. So you have to think, like in the moment when you're communicating with your partner, your toxic person, your narcissist, whatever, when you're communicating to them in the moment, where does this pop in line with conversation? Like, is this something that you guys have been planning for a while, or is this something that they just threw out there and it sounds great and endearing and a surprise, but what was it around? Was it around accountability? Was it around you catching them cheating? Was it around you catching them lying? Whatever it might be. A lot of times you'll see future faking going to the future to avoid things in the present. And that's where it gets confusing. Sometimes people will see the future faking and they wonder, okay, now this is over. He future faked me. This stuff never happened. And then the relationship dissolves. Either he leaves, you leave, either one discards, whatever it is. Relationship's over. And then you look and you see the next relationship and you see, wait a second. That house that he said I was going to get, he's given to that person. That vacation that he said we were going to spend together, they're going on for their honeymoon. The dog that he said we were going to get, they have now in their backyard. And this starts to mess with a lot of people's minds. So I want to tell you something. They're not giving it to the next person better. They're giving it to the next person because it's easier than them coming up with their own ideas. You see, when they walked into the relationship and they started future faking you, they didn't walk into the relationship with those thoughts in mind. They didn't walk into the relationship thinking, hey, we're going to go to Disney, we're going to get a 2-story house with a white picket fence, and we're going to get a German Shepherd. They didn't walk into the relationship thinking that. You had that in your mind. They pulled it out of you, and they twisted the future to make it match up to what you wanted. That way you would feel connected. So when they go to the next person, they take what you already gave. They take those thoughts. They don't have to come up with them anymore. They don't have to actually think about what would be nice, what would be loving, what would be something someone would want. They can go into the next relationship, they'll be like, I already got a plan. I know the house I'm going to get. I know the dog I'm going to get. I know the vacation I'm going to plan. Because that's easy. I already had that thought. I already had the research done. I already knew what this person wanted, so I'm going to just go for it in this aspect. They don't have to think about it. Narcissists are very lazy. When it comes down to it, they're very lazy because it's a lot easier just to regurgitate something you already learned than it is to come up and be creative with something else. So that's what they'll do. Sometimes they'll do that on purpose to be manipulative and kind of push back to you so that you see it and so that it messes with your mind. Or you see it and you end up reaching out to them and then there ends up being communication there. Then you end up being the side piece. It happens. So with future faking, be really careful when these plans show up based on the circumstances that you're going through. Do you guys have a healthy relationship and you're building for the future? Or are there issues going on that are being avoided by future promises? Really take a look and see how those promises, how that future is being discussed and is being placed out there. If you think that you're in a narcissistic relationship or you're not sure, one, I normally direct people, look at the DSM-5. You can find it online. You can see the 9 characteristics of narcissism, and you can start to see, like, hey, does this person match up? Doesn't mean you're diagnosing them. Just means you're saying, like, hey, are these attributes the same? If they are, you might want to talk to somebody. I talk to people every single day about narcissism, about breaking out of the trauma bond, getting through the detox of limbo land, and getting clarity of your future. If that's something you want to do, then just click on the link below, schedule a time. Be excited to sit down and talk with you and be able to help you build a plan to get free, build a plan to get clear, build a plan to grow and to change to be the best self ever. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or listen to the podcast on Apple or Spotify.